It's Chessa with Checker Distributors, and welcome to our post quilt market review. It is going to be a very special live event. We have a lot of stuff to get through. It's going to be quick. If you have any questions, make sure you put it in the comments, and we will do our best to get it answered. We have beautiful quilts from Kylie's Quilt Room, Lamb Farm Designs, Kimberbell Designs, Cut Loose Press, CNT, and more. Plus, you're going to see a live demo from Maria on the new Creative Grids Hunter Star Trim Tool by Deb Heatherly. And before that, we have a special guest joining. Kate of Kate Collar Designs is going to be live introducing you to her braid technique, tools, patterns, and her new book from CNT that's going to be released in January. It is available for pre-order now, though, so it is on our website. And so like I said, it's going to be jam-packed. We're going to go quick because we have so much to cover. We know you guys have to get back to your shops and your lives. So if you need to step away, absolutely do so. This video does stay on Facebook and YouTube, and you can come back at any time to watch it again. It's really fun to see where all of our customers are from. So leave a comment in the video with your shop name and location, and maybe we'll give you a little shout out. We always do Q&A. We try to do it on the fly. Sometimes we do it on the end. It really depends on how things are going. So let's see who is tuning today. Deb Heatherly is tuning in today. She has the new Creative Grids ruler that Maria is going to show you later on today. Laura from Missouri is here today. Hello, Jeanette from San Diego. Said it's beautiful and sunny there. I don't think we really have any sun here today in little mommy Ohio, but
it's filtered.
It's filtered. It's a good way to put it. Let's see, we got Anne from Norway. Hi, Anne. Thanks for tuning in. We have Sandra and Karen from Missouri Star. Hi, Karen. Hello to Rebecca from Michigan, not too far from us. Depending on where you are in Michigan. I don't know where Clayton is, but Sherry from Indiana. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. And we're going to start with new books from Landauer. And of course, always popular and top selling are these pocket guides. So let's show you the pocket guide for sergers so you can use your machine with confidence. It's an invaluable guide for both new and experienced seamstress and tailors. I wonder why I felt off today. I still have my shoes on in their platform. So I'm a couple inches taller. Everything felt a little off. So
Does that feel better?
It does not feel normal. Those couple inches really make a difference. Okay. So, I mean, you guys know the pocket guides. They really have everything you could need. Here you have your decorative threads, tensions, presser foot lever, trim bin. I've also, your trim bin, is that, you guys actually, I would put candy. I store my extra pieces in that.
Okay, is that on a serger?
Yeah.
Hold on, I gotta catch up. Yeah. And then so you put the fabric through, this cuts it so that extra falls down here into the bin.
See, I'm thinking of my part on my sewing machine one where I store all my
Similar,
extra pieces.
but not the same thing. It's because that blade on here will cut the edges of the serged fabric.
Okay.
So that's what the bin is for, is to catch those trimmed off pieces.
See, already learning new things from this lovely little book, and I've had it for a couple days. So just lots and lots of info. There's so many things that sergers can do, obviously, because even I'm still learning. And so this pocket guide for sergers from Landauer is just a great addition. Next, we have DIY embroidered shoes. This book is also from Landauer, and it's a beginner-friendly to advanced embroidery primer book. So you got your stitch glossary. It's full color. Always love full color. I can already tell you my mom's getting ideas from this, especially when I just showed those Converse because she's got lots of those. So it has step-by-step instructions. Like I said, full color pictures. It's very vibrant and a fun way to kind of repurpose. You know, maybe you busted out part like your big toe is. Just add some fun stitching and nobody will know there's a hole. So DIY embroidered shoes. Next up, the one and only lovely Dolly Parton. She's a superstar. She's a singer, a songwriter, an actress, a business mogul, and a florist. philanthropist.
Oh, what?
Philanthropist.
Oh.
Philanthropist.
There you go.
That's close enough. You ever feel so positive you can say something and then it doesn't come out? I for sure thought I could say that word. I didn't even practice. Should have practiced. So it's a coloring book. It's got fun quotes in it. Like, I never tried quitting and I never quit trying. A record crowd, so some great info. There's 30 realistic coloring pages, and this is from Design Originals. Dolly Parton, the Queen of Country. Next, from Annie's, is Love to Knit Socks. And this has 14 sock patterns using a variety of techniques and methods from top down to toe up and even unique spiraling. So you're going to learn multiple different ways to knit your socks. You're going to learn different cuffs, heels, toes. So just lots and lots of great. This would really be great for winter because it's chilly. And it's just very fun and very cute. Love to Knit Socks from Annie's. And my last book today is the last one in Kim Deal's Simple Whatnots. This one is a midnight snack of satisfyingly scrappy quilts. So there's 20 small and scrappy projects. Beautiful full color. You have your templates in it. But let's not flip through the book. Let's show you what we actually have today. We have samples from Kim herself. Thank you. How cute. Now, me and Maria were talking about it earlier, about her fabric collections. Though they're more in the natural kind of tones, the colors still really pop. So those were from Kim Deal's last Simple Whatnots book in her series. Thank you. Next, I have a new one from Kitchen Table Quilting. Sorry, I did quilts on one side and bags on another. I don't give her a heads up on what I do, and then she's left to fend for herself sometimes.
I'm okay. I'm okay, really.
So this is the Jenny quilt pattern from Kitchen Table Quilting. It has a straightforward block. So what would you call it? I always have trouble finding it. This, right?
Go like this. It's like a paw right here.
Yeah.
So those blue squares and this big white one. Make
So
it
it's not
block.
this whole thing.
No.
Give it what I give it, don't you?
I don't know.
So it is a straightforward block, I promise. It makes a lot more sense in the instructions. And it's great for showcasing your favorite fabrics with a lot of your white space or whatever background color you choose. It'd be a great way to show off some really unique quilting as well. So the Jenny quilt. Thank you.
Mhm.
Next, we have two from Lamb Farm Designs. The first one is Snips and Blossoms. And this is a delightful design, and it kind of brings together spools of thread, spring blossoms, and scissor blocks. Except for I stacked them in the wrong order for you.
You want the other one first?
That's
I'm
weird.
looking at this. I'm like, I'm not saying spool.
I know. And I specifically in my head did it the right way.
Okay.
It's a Wednesday. And it wouldn't be me if something didn't go a little sideways.
Yeah, but that's half the fun because that happens no matter if you're live or filming or in your stores or with customers.
It's just fun.
We're
make
just
it
human.
fun. Mhm.
That is
So
cute.
here are your spools, your blossoms, your scissors. So very cute. And this is done in Minky Kim, which was a Riley Lake Designs fabric line. So next is berry picking from Land Farm Designs. And you'll understand Like, oh, wait, yeah, this wasn't the other one. There's no spools of thread. So this is a twist on the traditional Ohio Star block. And the star points are strip piece for ease. There's no templates. It's only traditional piecing. And your cornerstone blocks are just going to complete this stunning design.
That is very cute.
Berry picking. So next now it is the bag. This is from Knot and Thread Designs. This is the Janet May purse. Look at how cute this is. Now you have your lovely strap. You can do it as a shoulder bag. You can adjust it to be a crossbody. It's got a nice big pocket in the back. You have your zipper pocket in the front. A large inside pocket. And then you have pockets on the inside of the pocket. Pockets. So there's lots of ways to organize, keep all your little pieces. And for a little bag, you can put a lot in it. It's just very practical. And it was actually named after the designer's grandmother who loved bags in every color. So the Janet May purse from Knot and Thread Designs.
I'm gonna swap you.
Deal. Thank you. All right. So another bag. This is the Tula Pink Tula Tote. This is by Sally Tomato. And another one, lots of pockets. You have your zippered pocket in front here. You also have a non-zippered pocket. You have your giant pocket on the top. You have a regular zippered pocket on the back. So there is so many things you can pack into this. You can do handles, you can do crossbody, and it's a really great way to accessorize with the new Tula Pink Sally Tomato hardware. You could also make the Tula accessories. So it's patterns for what it says, a little accessory. So this could be a coin purse. This could hold your phone or your keys or your wallet. So great patterns to go along with the new hardware. Let's see what else it is. I have some of the hardware to show you. So here's your zipper set.
Tip it so they can see the teeth.
Oh, like this?
Mhm.
Sorry, good call. Is that classic Tula Pink? The Tula Pink. There's a whole Tula Tote kit you can get to make this bag here. Lots and lots of fun hardware. And it's just a great way to store all of your stuff too. So the Tula Pink hardware, it's here, it's shipping. I mean, just look at how big this bag is. And you have the little feet on the bottom to protect it. Super awesome. Thank you. Now, if you were at Quilt Market, you saw us debut this. It's the newest thing from Karen K. Buckley. It is the perfect, come on, focus, there we go, perfect sewing caddy. So this was designed by Sheets So Creative, and it's a great solution for organizing your sewing notions and supplies, no matter what kind of sewing or crafting you like. Here is it in all of its glory, all empty. You have this lovely container in front here. You have lots of storage options here. You can have your spool of thread here. Let's show you a loaded down version. Oh, it's down here. I'm like, I know I have it. I gotta be careful because I tried to show it off the Quilt Market and I dumped the whole thing out. So lots of storage options. It is a great compact size. It has your grippy feet on the bottom, which is great. It has multiple storage areas. It's a great for all sorts of storage. We have buttons on the inside here. You can put some of that Tula Pink bag accessories in here. We have safety pins, more thread. So lots of great things with the new Perfect Sewing Caddy from Karen K. Buckley. Next from a Bohin, and we're just going to show them on the table because there's so many of them. And it's not even all of them. But I'm trying to rapid fire through this today because we got so much to talk about. So these are the new iron-on quilting bias. It's available in 20 sweet and luminous colors. You have some of the more muted, some more of the brighter colors. It is 6 millimeters or 1/4 inch wide. It's made for applique, stained glass, decorative quilting. It's for those perfect results. It can be pre-positioned with an iron and then sewn on by hand or by your machine. You just need to use your double needle. So from Bohin, the iron-on quilting bias. Next from Dritz is the bigger bobbin boat. So we already have regular bobbin boats. Now you have the bigger bobbin boat in a display. You have several different colors. You have this cute green, kind of a honey yellow, and this like lavender purple.
It's for the M bobbin.
Yes, it is for the emmed bobbin. It has this curved interior that is going to hug your bobbin, so it holds it securely in place. It holds up to 9 of, oh no, I'm sorry, this is loaded with 9 of them. It holds 10 of your size M bobbins in each one. So the bigger bobbin boat from Dritz. Next from Prim Dritz is the Vario Creative Tool. So if you watched any of our Facebooks or clicked through the email we sent after Quilt Market, Prim Dritz actually demoed this for us live. So this is a kind of all-in-one tool for punching holes, attaching snap fasteners and eyelets, and applying rivets. It is so simple. They were letting you try it at the booth. It is so quick. It does not, you don't need a mallet. You don't need a lot of pressure or anything. It makes it so easy. And it's compatible with all their existing tool sets. There's a table attachment that's sold separately. As you can see here, you just need your minimum pressure to pull it closed, and it's just going to punch right through it. So make sure you check out that amazing in-depth tutorial on our Facebook and our YouTube channel on the Vario Creative Tool from Prim and Dritz.
This is on my Christmas list, just in case anyone I know is listening.
Oh,
Would send-
okay.
send me,
Oh, maybe that one's just going to go missing.
or my kids who, once in a while ask what I want for Christmas.
Oh, okay. We'll just send them a link right to it. Next is the brand new color of the M3 Pro iron from Aliso. It is this beautiful raspberry color. As their other minis, it comes with your trivet, thank you. And it has that patented LED Pro light on the front. You got your ceramic flow sole plate, your detailer tip. You have dynamic dual steam capabilities. It's 1,000 watts of power. It's going to heat rapidly. It maintains accurate fabric temperature. And for convenience, I know this was something everybody was asking for because it was available in the large version. You have a 30-minute vertical and 10-minute horizontal standby mode that has a safety shut off. So very beautiful color. But to go along with it, you're going to need their new carry bags. So they have one for every color of the M3 Pros. You got the beautiful detail in the stitching. the Liso names on there. Got the carrying handles, so you just unzip. And you're gonna put your iron in there. It's gonna help keep it clean, keep it from getting scratched up. And it's great for taking on retreats and just a great way to store it. Please note, you do have to let your iron cool off before you put it in here. Just a little disclaimer. So these are also brand new from Oliso. Next, from Classy Creations, is the double-sided quilting mat. It has this beautiful blue color tealy on one side. Then you have your more muted coral on the other side. It's nice to have double sides. It's nice to have different colors depending on what fabric you're working on. It has durable commercial grade material, so it's built to really stand up to cutting over and over and over again. But maybe you're like, oh, I really like having a rotating cutting mat. Well, don't worry, because they have this turntable right here. Kind of have your little mat that helps everything stay nice and snug. And look at that, we've just created a turntable. This is for your 12 by 18 cutting mat. Like I said, it was double-sided. It's 3/4 of an inch HDPE, and it is just like the mats, built to really withstand all your cutting and lots of projects. So it's a double-sided quilting mat and your turntable from Classy Creations. Okay, next up, both you and your Creative Grids customers are gonna love this new combo pattern. It's by Camilla Quilts and it's called Cabins of Valor. Now there are actually 3 completely different patterns that come in one booklet, and all 3 of them meet the Quilt of Valor requirements. All 3 of them require the Creative Grids 12-inch log cabin trim tool. 2 of them do the Strippy Stars tool, which is by Deb Heatherly, and one of them you can use the Creative Grids folded corner clipper just for more ease. It's optional, but we all love that. So here is one of the patterns that come in the book. Got a beautiful large panel in the middle. You got your log cabins on the edge, your border. Can quilt it with your desired design. It's a great Quilt of Valor pattern. Again, there's 3 included in the pattern booklet that you're going to buy. So Cabins of Valor from Camilla Quilts. Next, gnomes. I have been seeing gnomes since I started here 7 years ago. They're so popular. They're not going away. So Kylie from Kylie's Quilt Room said, okay. And came out with Chilling with My Gnomies. Now,
So cute.
fun thing. It's chilling with your gnomies and expansion pack. So you could just have your fun gnomes, or you have an option to add other blocks to coordinate with it. So you have your beautiful flower. If we fold it and show you the bottom, there's a mushroom.
And there's a little hut.
And a baby mushroom and a hut.
Well, I don't know if that's the right term for it, but
A gnome house. Fairy house.
House.
Say like fairy garden.
I don't know. When it comes to gnomes, I don't know.
It could be anything you wanted to. This looks like a little balloon that says hi. So very cute. Gnomes. Go gnome crazy. Look at this beautiful pattern. This beautiful fabric in the back too.
It's very pretty.
Gorgeous. So your little gnomes. Chilling with my gnomies. And you guys know I love when patterns give you lots of options because you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. So next, we really need like 12 people to hold this one, but we're gonna do our best. It is a new cut loose press pattern. It was designed by Wendy Ersman, and it is called the Lone Star Log Cabin Quilt. This combines the beauty of a Lone Star cabin quilt with the timelessness of log cabin blocks.
I'm not sure which end to hand to you. Who's the fold? Maybe we
Well, we'll
just
just start. So here's half of it. So it is a king size quilt. The Lone Star Center is created with the Quilt Smart Lone Star Classic Pack. So your success is basically guaranteed. And you see on the borders, that's where you have your log cabins. Flip it over.
the corner up in there so they can see it. There you go. Look at that beautiful corner of log cabin blocks.
I just love the color she picked for this.
It's very pretty.
So this is the Lone Star Log Cabin Quilt from Cut Loose Press.
And neither one of us are tall enough to hold the whole thing up. So
Not at all. But you can see it in that, oh, great time to add. There is a pinned comment on this video, and it is a link that's going to take you to all the items being talked about today, and it'll show you a few full picture of it. Well, we tried. It's
and you
beautiful.
can always see it on the website too.
Okay. So I have a handful more here. We're going to talk about some items from Zaka Workshop. You have a wildflower eyeglasses case in a vintage floral purse. So let's start with the floral purse kits. So these have a beautiful floral wreath motif. It's designed by the Japanese embroidery artist Alice Mikabe. Their stuff always comes in kits with everything you need. And then they always have the options to buy additional hardware instead of buying the whole kit again because you don't need the pattern every time. And then you have the option to do the wildflower eyeglasses. This is also from Zaka Workshop. It's safely and securely storing your glasses. You have a flex frame closure, so your glasses aren't going to fall out. There's soft padding, and your glasses are going to stay protected. This was also designed by embroidery artist Alice Mikabe. Thank you. Next, brand new items from Clover debuted at Houston Quilt Market, which still feels like it was just yesterday, even though it was a couple weeks ago. It was so much fun. It was so great to see everybody who was there and stopped by the booth. So let's start with the Grip Fit Triple Tracing Wheel. So you can easily switch from one wheel to another by turning the handle. There is also a great demo for this on our YouTube and our Facebook. Clover's booth was right next to ours, and they were kind enough to do a live for us and just really show you the multiple uses for this. And it's branded the Grip Fit, so it's very comfortable and it has an ergonomic handle. And look, you even got a storage for your other wheel. And then you have the Grip Fit seam cutter, seam ripper. It's got a cover on it for your blade. Again, this has that ergonomic handle, so it's very comfortable to use. On the tip here, on the other end, you have your little tool to help get your loose threads, your thread remover. So these were both brand new from Clover. It's part of their Grip Fit series. Next, we're going to jump ahead to the punch needle embroidery kits from Kimberbell. Here you have a super cute, getting ready for Valentine's Day already. It's going to be here before we know it. These are punch needle embroidery kits. They include all the supplies you need to completely finish your project, including the tool, the monk's cloth, the yarn, the frames, and your step-by-step instructions. Punch needle embroidery kits from Kimberbell. Next up is a brand new from Taylor Seville. Oh, nope. Now I really am jumping. I'll go back. This is the Magic Rotating Beeswax. It conditions your threads, it prevents tangling, and it makes threading easier. This, we also have a great video on our Facebook and our YouTube. It has a rotating dial and little slits in the plastic here, so you're not just creating a dent in your beeswax. You can just shift it a little bit so you get to use all of it. You're not wasting anything. It's the Magic Beeswax. Now I'm gonna go back to the coiled rope from the Mountain Thread Company. So they have coiled rope kits, they have baskets, they have oval bowls, they have coasters. So this is your kit. Go for it. You're going to make something beautiful. Have your instructions, how to prep your stuff, and your rope, of course. And it's in a very fun, cute box. It doesn't take up a lot of space. And just look at the beautiful pieces you can create. These little bowls. Depending on how you stitch it, you can make matching coasters. Or you can just keep it simple and use a matching thread. You can make them in ovals. You can add handles. So it's great for all skill levels. Oh, here's another version of coasters. These ones are square. So as you can see laid out on the table here, there are so many options, so many different designs, shapes, uses of these coiled ropes from Mountain Thread Company. So I have one more notion I'm going to talk to you about today. Actually, two, because I have some cards to talk to you about. We have brand new Christmas cards from Katie Cupcake. You have your Santa, your Joy to the World, and then your Dove. So, and the last notion I'm going to talk to you about today is the new Daylight Slimline 4. Now, after I talk about this today, Kate Colleran is going to hop on and talk to you about her new braid technique, tools, and lots of good stuff. And then after her, Maria's going to come back and give you your introduction and your demo to your Creative Grids Hunter Star tool. So make sure you hang around. So the Slimline 4, this is from Daylight. As you can see the name, it is the 4th version. Now, the great new features I want to touch on this is, well, first off, this table version now comes in a rose gold. So pretty. Just look at that. They're kind of too big to bring onto the set, but I did do a video, a lot of things to talk about today have videos, on our Facebook, our TikTok, our YouTube, on all the colors, all the great features. Specifically, it is a taller design from the previous one, so you have more flexibility and reach. Our sewing machines are getting bigger, we need more room. There is a high power 2A USB-C port built into the base here, so you can charge your tablet, your phone, all of that while you're working. The table ones have a new clamp opening and feature to help hold better. You have your dual flexible joints still. And now the shade is anti-glare. It has like a coating on it. And so those are really great features on the new Daylight Slimline 4. So now we're going to go ahead and bring on Kate of Kate Colleran Designs.
Hi.
Mute me.
Hey, everyone. Thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a little bit about what a braid is in a quilt. I'm going to show you how to use my tool, my braid template and my midi braid template to cut braid pieces into pieces of different sizes, and then how to sew it together and cut it, and how easy it is to make a braid. It's one of my favorite things lately to do. You know, I made my first braid a few years ago when I had my book out, Smash Your Pre-Cut Stash for C&T Publishing. In it, I had designed a quilt with a braid, and everyone said to me, have you ever made a braid quilt before? And I was like, oh, no, I've designed it, but I haven't made it. So I checked with all my friends. What do you like about making braids? What don't you like? One of the things they told me is most of the time people make braids with rectangles. Now, if you're sitting here wondering, what is a braid? Let me show you one. So this is a braid. This is actually the placemat for my patterned table scraps. Isn't that cute? And let me make sure I fold it the right way so you can see the braid again. And do you see these little rectangles here? Well, what happens is once you put it in the braid, you need to trim the sides. And what they found was when they had rectangles, they weren't sure where to trim to make the sides. Plus, they had all these little pieces of fabric left over that they really didn't know what they would use them for. So it seemed kind of wasteful. So I thought, well, I'll make my braid and I'll cut the angle to fit. So that's what I want to show you. So we're going to come over here to my little demo table, and I'm going to show you how to use my template to cut the pieces for your braid. So down here, I have 3 strips. And what's really fun is that with my new template, you can use a strip of any size up to 3 inches. When I made my first braid for the quilt, I used template plastic. The problem with template plastic is you only get one size, and you can't really cut against the edge here, because when you lay it down, you'll have to either draw a line or line up another ruler next to it then to try to cut. Because if you cut against this, you're going to hurt yourself, right? Or you're going to keep cutting the template smaller and smaller. So that's what had me design this ruler. And as you can see, it's 3 inches wide and it's 8.5 inches long from here to the point. And I've got all these lines on it. What all those lines allow me to do is cut my braid of different sizes. Plus, because it's 3 inches wide, I can use any size strip I want up to 3 inches. So I could use this 2.5 inch strip. I could use this 1.5 inch strip. I could use this 1 inch strip. I can use any size strip I want up to 3 inches. So let me show you how to use the template to cut your pieces. Now, if you're a shop and you're thinking, how do I demo this in my shop? You can have everything pre-done. Whenever I do a demo, I have everything cut up ahead of time to make it so easy, because it's just a very simple process. So what I've done here is, and I like to use a light colored strip so it's easier to see the braid. So what I've done here is I've cut my pieces already, but I'm going to show you how I would cut them using the template. So before you get started, you want to start with your strip, fold it in half, wrong sides together. So just like it comes off the bolt, and make sure you have a nice straight edge. Then you want to decide how long you want to cut it. And again, you're going to cut it whatever size. Let's say I'm doing 7.5. It just means it would be 7.5 from here to the pointed end. So that's what I'm going to do for my demo. All I need to do is find the 7.5 inch line on my straight edge and line it up with the straight edge of my strip of fabric. All right, lay it down. And what I always want to do is line up the edge of my fabric right here with the template where it says, and you can't see it because it's kind of small, but it says line up along this edge. So no matter how big my strip is underneath this template, I always line up the edge of my fabric with the edge of my template where it says to. Then I make a quick cut. Ta-da, magic cut. And I have 2 pieces. And do you see how they have opposite angles? These will help form the sides of our braid. Now let's say you want to cut another set of pieces from your strip. Well, now we want to line up the angled edge with the angled edge of our template. So for this ruler, all you do is rotate it. You don't turn it upside down. And then you find the number that you're using. So I'm finding my 7.5 inch angled line, and I line it up with the angled line of my fabric. And then what I want to do is I want to make sure I slide my template so the edge of my fabric lines up with the edge of my template where it says line up along this edge. And then I can make a cut on the straight edge, and I have 2 more pieces. They'll be the exact same size as the pieces I just cut. If they're not, that meant what you did was you did this. You lined it up with the 7.5, but you didn't line up where it said on the template to. See how my pieces are smaller? Because I would have cut this away. So that's how easy it is to cut with the braid template. Now, once you've cut all your pieces, then what you want to do is lay them out so you can get an idea of how you might want to put your braid together. Pick your colors, decide what order they might go in. But as you're doing that, you want to think about a few things. One is that if I just line my pieces up like this, I'm thinking all I have to worry about is this piece will touch this and this. But look at my braid. This piece touches 4 other colors. So I want to think about that as I line up my colors to make sure I have a color scheme that I really, really like. And once I've done all that, well, now it's time to sew. And sewing is super simple. I like to say that making braids this way is, well, almost goof-proof. One of the things we do when we sew a braid this way is we start at the bottom of our braid. And what's really fun about that is that as we build our braid and we work our way up, we can cut pieces off of our braid for our project and then keep adding more pieces to the top. So you can just keep going with your braid. So how do you get started? Well, you can see I've laid out some pieces, and this is probably the most confusing piece right here. But it always works if you remember, can I see the sides of my braid? Do you see how the angles form the sides of your braid? So then to get started, you just want to sew this little short seam right here. So right sides together, sew this little short seam just like that, and ta-da, it looks like this. And I've just pressed it this way, nice and flat. Then I want to find a piece that has the same angle as this one. See how they have the same angle? And you might be thinking, uh-oh, Kate, it's too long. But nope, nope, nope. When we turn it over, right sides together, and we line it up here and here, see how we have our perfect little 1/4-inch notch? Zip, zip, zip our seam. Give it a little finger press, and it looks like that. All right, now we can add the next piece. This time I want to find one with this angle. Again, the same thing, right sides together, line it up here and here, sew my little 1/4-inch seam, zip, zip, and it looks like this. And you just keep adding your pieces, one to this side, one to this side, one to this side, one to this side. It's very relaxing sewing. It's perfect for that advanced beginner because it's just straight lines. And they'll learn a lot about pressing because, of course, we do have bias over here. So this will be a great opportunity to really reinforce the idea of pressing flat and not ironing it and stretching it out of shape. Once we have our piece sewn and we have a nice big piece like this, then what we want to do is we want to start trimming where we started sewing because we can always add more later. So I would just take my ruler. I would come up here. Let me move this down so you can see it. And I would just be sure that I was above this little intersection and I would make a nice straight cut. Then I would measure up whatever size I wanted my braid to be and make another cut. And then to trim the sides, well, I like to say that this is the fun part because you don't have to be like so exact. We're so used to being so exact in quilting, but I can actually just about eyeball it. Whatever size I want, I'm going to eyeball about the same amount that I'm going to trim off either side. So if I wanted to trim this strip to 7.5, well, I'm going to trim about that much off this side, and I would just go ahead, zip, trim it, turn it around, and trim it to 7.5. And then when I was all done, I would have this wonderful little braid piece that I could put into my project. You can trim them into squares, you can trim them into rectangles, you can do all sorts of things. You know, once I had been making the braid, and the braid does come with instructions so that you can easily follow along, and it shows you exactly how to do what I just showed you, how to make your cuts and how to sew it together. And then I also have, which is really fun, a mini braid template. Because who doesn't love to make mini things? I really wanted to be able to make some smaller braids. And while the braid template is very versatile, it can make lots of different size braids, it doesn't really do mini too well. So I needed a mini braid template. So let me show you a couple of other braids and then I'll show you some projects. So here's a braid that I made with the big braid template. And what you'll notice if you looked at the first one that I had, do you remember this one? Look how much different this looks because this had wider strips. This had skinnier strips. So you can really change the look of your braid using different width strips. And then of course with the mini, look what we can do with the mini. Isn't this fun? Aren't they cute? Oh my gosh, I just love making things with the mini braid template. It just is so much fun. And even though these were little 1-inch strips and they're not all that long, guess what? It's no harder to do than to use the big template because it's just straight lines. As long as you're just gentle with your pressing and you just press flat, I'll often press a few with just a finger pressing before I take it to the iron. And just press it flat and there it goes. It looks just like that. Then you can come in, make your trim. And as I like to say for the sides, trim your wobbly bits. All right, how about if I come back up and I'll show you some projects. So let me grab some projects here. I showed you the placemat from the table runner pattern, table scraps. Here's the table runner in that pattern. Isn't that fun? So you can see that I used wider strips and I cut them longer. The longer you cut your braid pieces, the wider your finished braid is. So not only did I use wider strips, but I cut them longer so I had a wider braid in my table runner. You know, this pattern is so versatile. You can use it with all sorts of different fabrics. Here's another color scheme that I did. I'm so much of a blue and green girl, but it's got a little bit of purple in it too. Isn't that fun? You could use it with holiday fabrics like Thanksgiving fabrics, Halloween fabrics, Christmas fabrics. It looks so good in Christmas fabrics. I had one done in Christmas fabrics, but I gave it away, so I can't show you. But isn't this fun? Really bright. And the reason I called it table scraps is because it's also a really fun way to use up scraps, especially this table runner because it's 2.5-inch strips. So it could be leftover jelly roll strips, right? You can do a lot of things with braids. Most of my patterns that I've been putting out more recently have all been basic braids, just like what I showed you, because it's so simple to sew. We even included it in our pattern, a road trip, which is a block of the month pattern. Do you see the trees over here? We used the braid template to make those. Isn't that fun? But my most popular pattern, the one I love that everybody loves, is my Pack It Up bag. This is just meant to be a little bag. It's not a purse. It's a bag to stuff stuff in, which is why I called it Pack It Up. Just pack it up full of stuff. And it's got 4 sizes in the pattern. So this is the extra large size. All right, I'm going to do this because it's my favorite thing to do. It's like nesting dolls. So this is the extra large. And then we have, oh wait, the large. And then we have, oh wait, the medium. And then after that, ta-da, the small. Aren't they fun? All right. And again, it's also really versatile. You can do it in any kind of fabric. Here I have it in some batiks. You might have noticed that a couple of the bags had cork at the bottom. This one is batik with a little cork at the bottom. So it's a fun way to show people how to use cork, which is another fun thing to do. Oh, here it is in more batiks, which is really fun. This big size really is one of my favorites because if you're a knitter, perfect for storing your yarn in your project. I also have my Carry This bag, which is right here, that has this fun braid accent. It's got 2 outside zipper pockets, a zipper to go inside, and then another little pocket inside. I even done my braid on a pop-up. You guys know that popular pop-up pattern, right? Look at that. I did a braid on the outside of my pop-up. So fun. Let's see, what else have I got for you? I say fun a lot, but that's because braids are really fun. They're so easy to sew. I call it Sunday afternoon sewing. There's no points to match. I'm just sewing a little piece, giving it a press, sewing a little piece, giving it a press. Super fun. I also have this notebook cover that I call Jot It Down. You may notice that I've gotten a little bossy with some of my titles. Pack It Up, Jot It Down, Carry This, and, wait for it, Tote That. So this is my little tote bag pattern. This is the smaller size, just this braid accent on an angle. And then this is the larger size. Isn't that great? Oh my gosh, you can carry so much stuff in this. But then I just recently had an opportunity to write another book with C&T Publishing. So honored they let me do this. And I got to do it all about braids. It's available for pre-order right now. It's called Patchwork Braids. And one of the things we wanted to do in the book is, remember I said I mostly do basic braids? I wanted to show you other ways to make braids in the book. So I did some projects with basic braids. One of the projects is these cute little placemats, just using a basic braid. Very fun, very quick, a great class to introduce people to making braids. But then I wanted to say, oh, well, what if you wanted to add squares to your braid? So we have a few projects where we show you how to add squares to the braid. This is one of them, a fun little wall hanging or table topper, however you wanted to use it. And then another project that I have uses braids that are kind of pieced. So we piece strips in different ways, and then we cut them into braids. And here's one of the table runners that I made with pieced strips. I love that. And then the last one I'm going to show you from the book is when we used different size strips in the same braid. I often get asked that, can you use strips of different sizes in the same braid? And the answer is yes, you can. There's only one little trick you need to know. And that little trick is you need to add the same size strip as pairs, a braid here and a braid here that are the same size. Your next two braids can be different size. They just have to be the same size as each other. They don't have to be the same fabric. They just have to be the same size. And I have this great tote bag with these fun pockets in it. Do you see these pockets? Isn't that great? And do you see how there's like this skinny little accent braid in here? Yep. And it's a smaller strip than the braids that are on this fun plaid fabric. And you can do that in a braid. And did you notice how skinny these were? I used 3/4 inch strips to cut them. Now you might be thinking that's insane, but guess what? It's just straight line sewing. And so it is easy to do because it's just straight line sewing. So thank you so much for letting me show you all about some of my braid projects, my braid templates. They are really a great, great, great technique to add to a quilter's toolbox. And with the technique and the template that I have, it's just something that's achievable, really, for almost any quilter. So thank you so much for letting me do this.
Hey everybody, it's Maria from Creative Grids. And thank you, Kate, for that wonderful presentation. We're over here going, ooh and ah, and how fun, and I love the names and all of that. But today I want to show you our newest ruler. It literally just arrived in the warehouse this week. And as all of them, they're going to come wrapped with the instructions, the insert for how to use it. This is the new Hunter Star trim tool from Deb Heatherly. And with it, you can make 3 different sized units to make those popular Hunter Star blocks. So let me show you really quick how to put a traditional block together. And then we've got a bunch of samples that we want to show you that Deb loaned us for the show and for market, so we could show everybody what they can make with this wonderful tool. So let's switch to the table down here. I love our rotating mat for this. And of course, my rotary cutter, which comes in its case. Let me open the ruler up here quick. If you don't want it to open, then you know it won't. There we go. Once in a while I get an email that I didn't get my instructions, because people don't realize that this is the instructions there. So when you take that sheet off and open it up, you've got all of the illustrations and instructions to make the traditional block, along with a bonus feature. The cutting chart is here, etc. The cutting chart is also, move this for just a second, right here on the tool. So for unit A,
Can you hold it up?
so you can see it closer.
Yeah.
I'll get the hang of this. Always takes me a minute. Unit A, here's all. You're going to get a finished size unit of 6 inches or a 12-inch block, because you need 4 units per block. You're going to cut 2 light and 2 dark 5.5-inch squares. Cut 8 light, 8 dark for the star points, which measure 2-inch by 5-inch. You're going to cut 4 light and 4 dark for the trapezoids, which measure 2-inch by 4 3/4 inch. And each one has its own set of numbers to go by for when you're prepping. You'll see tick marks on here, A, B, and C. A, B, and C for those different size blocks. Outlines for trimming. A dark line to line up on your seam lines. And lines A, B, and C for trimming star points and those trapezoids. So let's have some fun here. Excuse me. I have taken this light gray. Oh, Jess is giving me to move it forward. If I would look at the screen, I could see. Is that better?
Yes, perfect.
There we go. So they were squares, which I sliced in half. So now they're triangles, of course. Same thing for my batiks. You're going to need one of these and one of these for each unit. You're also going to need some 2.5 by 6.5-inch rectangles. You're going to want the gray and the print for those star points. and some 2.5 by 6 1/4 and 2.5 by 6 1/4 gray and batik, which I don't know if I have a matching one in there, but I have the others trimmed, so it's all going to work out great. Since our squares are already cut in half, I'm going to set those aside. And let's start with some star points. Find the marks on the tool. For this particular size, I'm using the C unit. So I'm going to turn it and lay it right on that set of rectangles and trim. Now, before I trim, I want to make sure that my fabrics are either wrong side to wrong side or right side to right side, because I want pairs for those star points. With the batik, it's a little harder to tell, but I think you can kind of see with my grays. I've got wrong side to wrong side, but either way will work. So I'm lined up on my C line here. This one just happens to hit this dark perpendicular line here. Not all of them will. I've got it lined up on the edge, so when I cut, I'm going to trim off those little corners to make it easy to sew together. And there are some star points. Now for the gray, I'm going to do the same thing. Wrong side to wrong side. Now you can see those lines a little bit better too. While we're lined up on this, don't forget the QR code that comes either on our rulers or on the inserts that come with. You can scan that to go right to the website to see a how-to video along with all the patterns and things that are available to go with this tool. There's my other set of star points. And then for the trapezoids, make sure I grab from the right pile here. I took my markers off, so now I got to measure again. There we go. Quick glance at the numbers down there. There's my 6 1/4 inch pieces. Same thing again. Line up that rectangle underneath the tool. And now I need to flip it over, because to make a trapezoid, I need 2 angles. I'm going to trim again. And yes, I save these. I'll show you in a minute my box full of perfectly trimmed little tiny triangles.
I wasn't even going to say anything.
Well, you know, because you start with a rectangle, it's not scrappy, so they're perfectly formed. And I feel bad leaving them all alone out there in the world, so I do save those. Now, I need 1 trapezoid and 2 star points. And they're going to line up like this. I need to flip them to right sides together to stitch down that side and stitch down that side to make those units. I'm going to do the same thing This would be for a second block because it doesn't match that, but with the batik in the middle and gray star points on either side. How slick is that? You've trimmed out those points, so when you go to line them up for sewing, they line up perfectly. And I'm going to stitch 1/4 inch and press them all to one side, and you'll see why here in just a minute. Actually, let's go back like this. Rewind. Zoop. You're going to sew those together. There are too many colors in here. And then stitch a triangle to the outside edge to make half of that unit. It is hot in here. It is hot. When you're done putting those all together, they're going to look like this.
Should have brought our neck fans from Target.
I know where it is. It's sitting in my bedroom by my suitcase. So here is that batik half. Let's do this half. Here's that gray trapezoid right there. Batik, batik. And then the gray. And isn't that a funky look? So now we're going to bring out the trim tool again. And I'm going to lay this on my block with the C marks or tick marks inside of this little unit here with the trapezoids. You might be just to the inside of your seam line or just to the outside or dead on, whichever way it is, be consistent with how you line it up with the rest of your blocks. So now, depending if you're right or left-handed cutting, I can turn it for safe cutting, but I'm going to start right here.
Hey Maria, for our new viewers, what new tool are you demonstrating?
The Hunter Star Trim Tool by Deb Heatherly. Creative Grids. Did I not say that before? Oh, I did say I was from
Not just
Creative
a second.
Grids. Yes. The tool is also from Creative Grids. So I've rotated the block around and the tool. I'll line that up again. And I want you to notice that edge I just trimmed is even with this edge and with this dotted edge, which is the outline for the 8-inch finished block. Now I get this question a lot. What is a finished block? A finished block is the size of the block after you've sewn it into your quilt. So look at this little 1/4 inch line here. There's your 8 inches right there. And the seam line makes it an 8.5 inch raw edge block. Nope. Make sure you cut through all the tips there. And just like that, I have a beautiful trimmed block. Let's see that one more time. There's another finished unit. That dark line is going along this seam line there. My C's are just to the inside of my little joints.
Sandra, it's from Deb Heatherly, not Deb Tucker.
Yes, from Deb Heatherly. Hunter Star Trim Tool by Deb Heatherly. Rotate both around. I tend to like to mass produce parts. So I sew all of these together, all of those together, add the triangles, stitch down the middle, and now I've got a lot of trimming to do. And there you go, another perfect Hunter Star unit. Now let's put 4 of them together. Do we have more questions?
Good.
So now I'm going to take 4 of those units. Let's color it like that. And look at that beautiful star that shows up in the middle of those 4 units to make one block. So because I followed the marks for C, this will be a 16-inch block once sewn into my quilt. I like to leave these separate and lay them all out on my design wall before I sew any of them together, so I can put the colors where I want them, make sure I don't have them touching, etc. But 4 sewn together, 4 units, make one Hunter Star block. Now let's take a look at some quilts that are made with this traditional technique. And we'll switch back up here. This first. So behind me here is Deb's pattern called Stars on Parade. And she's used these really pretty bright colors to do her units. And these are the smaller units in here. And then she's also added some half square triangles in the border to finish it off, which I think is really lovely. She used the same fabric for the background, so you'll see that beige show up throughout the quilt. But, and the landscapers are here, if you can hear that.
Timing.
Sometimes we hear alarms today. Today it's the landscapers, but that's all right. We want the leaves gone too. So, Stars on Parade by Deb Heatherly from Deb's Cats and Quilts to do this lovely quilt behind me on the wall. Am I not talking loud enough, or is the lawnmower too
I just
loud?
want to be sure they hear you.
Clip that onto my shirt. Better. I want it on the outside of my shirt, not on the inside, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do, the orange and black one next. Next, I have got a fun Halloween version that uses two fabrics. And this one is called October Nights. It's a cut loose press pattern. So these are all available through your account at Checker. You can also go to the Cut Loose website to view them a little bit closer. But look at, she used just two fabrics, the black and the orange with the bats on it, to do those units. And look at those fun stars. A little piece for the border, some pumpkins for the outer border out here, and you've got a fun little wall hanging for the holidays, which we just got finished with. But you know what? It's never too late to start on next year, especially when you still have that fabric sitting there from projects you didn't quite finish. Me, I'm the one that does that. Next, I'm probably not going to pronounce this right. It's spelled Aquila. I think it's Aquila, something like that. A cut loose press pattern, also by Deb. And this one uses three fabrics. So she's got these little snowflakes for the background, blue for half of the unit, and red for the star points on the other half. And look at this fun combination. You end up with a red and white star with blue anvils, which I think they look like anvils, in the background, but that's with just three fabrics. So you don't have to be super colorful like the one on the wall. You can keep it simple and use just simple yardage to do this fun table runner, also by Deb. No, not yet. Do the blue one. No. On the tote. Yep. Favorites. This is called Plain Favorites. Another one from Deb's Cats and Quilts. This one is so fun because she used the same background fabric, but she used a different blue in every part of each unit. So it's scrappy and it's mixed up. And it's her favorite color, blue. A little bit of fabric for the border on the outside, but another version of how to make that traditional block with all different blue prints or purple prints like I would like, or green or red or whatever your heart desires. So Plain Favorites from Deb's Cats and Quilts, also by Deb Heatherly. Yes, please. This one is called Huntington, also from Deb and Deb's Cats and Quilts. And the neat part about this one is that, look, she used three colors, the green, the red in the star points, and the background. And each block is separated by sashing and cornerstones, so it gives it a whole nother look. I don't know if she knew this was going to happen, but look at the play with the cornerstones and the red points. Down here, you've got kind of a fractured star showing up in there, which is super cool, but it changes the look of the block just by adding that sashing and cornerstones. So very cool. Huntington, also from Deb Heatherly. Now, I want to show you a second way to do this block. So give me a second, Chessa. I always tell people you can make any quilt look different just by the color placement, just by the fabrics that you choose. Be creative. It's right there in the name with our rulers, of course. And I'm trying to encourage people to do that a lot. So for this one, I am going to use black for both sides of the triangles. black for all of the trapezoids and batik prints for all of the star points. So it's going to totally change that block. You're changing your mind on my mic again?
Well, it kind of is a short cord. Now that they're gone, I don't want you to be tethered like that.
All right, so I've trimmed them just like we did with the grays and the batiks that went with those, and I've sewn a whole bunch of them together. Here is a unit stitched together by itself. Thank you. I am always warm. Someone asked me if I was cold in my office today. I said, I'm never cold in my office.
Yeah, they were talking about turning up the heat. I'm like, no.
As I have my fan on the floor going in my office. But this simple, you're going to make all of the halves of the units like this. Now I had some pebbles and I had some prints in batik, so I'm combining them like this. And there's my new unit. Now it looks different. From this unit, because both of these now are colored, all of these are black, and both of these are colored. So you can see how easy it is to change the look of something just by changing where you put that fabric color. Trimming is going to be the same. Look how sharp that looks. Now you could use white with pastels. You could use, you know, greens, reds and greens here for Christmas stars, pinks and purples for a little girl's quilt, whatever you want. Now, this is the same size block as the other one because my brain likes continuity. I'm going to line that tool up, that dark line along this longest seam line. My C's are just inside the block. A little bit of pressure applied and my trim tool isn't going to go anywhere while I trim. Turn both of those around. Line that up again. Now my clean line is hitting that dotted line and the outer edge. I cut this triangle a little bit close there. But I still have plenty to trim off. And there is my new unit. And for comparison, look at the difference there. Now let's put 4 of these together and see what happens. Oops. I trimmed a few because I knew that was going to happen. I was going to end up with the same fabrics. Now let's do a really bright one here. There you go. Now look, it's that same hunter star, but look at how bright and fun that is. When I add more units over here, I'm going to need another star here, another star up here, all over the quilt. So like I said before with the light gray one, I would probably lay these out before I sewed the 4 units together for the block because I want to play with where those fabrics are going to go. But you can assemble big blocks like this, play with them on the wall or the floor or wherever you do your designing and see what fun you can have. So I've got a few samples to show you like that. So let's come back up again so you can see how hot I still am. I mean, temperature wise, not, you know. So for this, Deb used colors in her star points. The polka dot is her background throughout this fun table runner. And this one is called, whoop, I throw half of them on the floor. This is Floating Stars, another cut loose press pattern. You can see she goes through all of the illustrations, how to put those parts together. Plus you've got them in the insert, like I said before. Thanks, Cindy. Of course, it's the last one I want to show, so you got to pick that up off the floor. Thank you. And very fun. The next one is called So Much Fun, SCW, Much Fun. And she did a fun little treat with this one. We've got buttons for embellishments here and there, and she stitched some rickrack on top, which is totally my thing. Again, the polka dot is her background, the units. This technique is also explained in the insert, which I'm not going to explain to you more today, but I'll give you a brief overlook of it. And here we go, some more units again to make those star points. A little pieced border, polka dot border out here, more rickrack and more buttons. So much fun. And this one is called Scattered Stars, also from Cut Loose Press. She's using the polka dot for the background again, prints for the star points. Now Deb did the same print across from each other. Those blocks I showed you, I mixed them all up so you can see you're going to get a different look depending on how you place the fabrics and the colors, but how fun is that? So Scattered Stars, also from Deb to go with this tool. There's a total of 10 new patterns that came out. One I don't have the sample for is, oops, I know, I forgot that one too. Three Color Fun, I think was the one that I don't have the sample for. Now, one more treat. This last one is called Panel Panache. So there's a panel in the middle and there are star points around the outside edge. Look at this. So here, she made a unit with red and green star points, white for the background. If you can pretend this is red and green. She's going to take another block and lay it face down on top of here. Draw a line from corner to corner, stitch on either side so you end up with this. Half star points and half third color. So, same unit, third way to do it. Here's the unit, would have been all white, adding the red square to it. Here is your new block or unit right there. Half units put together make for the star points around the outside edge. And there's two different options in there for sizes, but wouldn't that be a cool border and even a king size bed quilt? You have to play with the math a little bit, but that's part of quilting, isn't it? So Panel Panache, also from Deb to go with this brand new tool. The Hunter Star Trim Tool from Creative Grids. So you've got our grip, got our QR code, you've got an illustration for what the block is going to look like, along with that cutting chart printed right on the tool. And like always, you've always got us to ask questions of. If I don't know the answer, I know how to get a hold of Deb to ask her. And I know she's got a huge group of following that contact her directly. She's got great Facebook stuff going on. So keep an eye on our socials too for more stuff with this Hunter Star Trim Tool that I absolutely love. And now, I think that's it.
It is.
Jessica,
It
come
is.
back.
So we just want to bid everybody farewell. It doesn't look like we have any comments that we haven't answered. If you do have a comment, as Maria said, you can get in touch with her. She can get in touch with everybody. You can leave a comment here on this video. We always are checking and watching our notifications, and all of these items are available on checkerdisc.com. As always, thank you for being a Checker customer, and we're going to see you on December 18th for a fun little end of the year Christmas holiday giveaway.
Ooh.
So until then, bye.
See you all soon.